Women's basketball gets better as the Caitlin Clark momentum train gets bigger. I mean, this year she's not playing well. She's hurt. She's not there for all the games.
Caitlin Clark has officially rewritten the WNBA history books, again. In a jaw-dropping performance that left fans roaring and critics silenced, Clark shattered not one, not two, but three major WNBA records in a single game. Facing off against powerhouse Aja Wilson and the reigning champions, the Las Vegas Aces, the Indiana Fever didn't just hold their own, they dominated. With every pass, shot, and steal, Caitlin proved she's not just a rookie sensation, she's a generational force. But which records did she break? And how did she dismantle the Aces so effortlessly? Let's find out. The night Caitlin Clark took over Vegas. July 18th, 2025. Las Vegas, Nevada. The lights inside Michelob Ultra Arena burn brighter than ever. The crowd is electric, buzzing with anticipation as two titans of the WNBA prepare to clash. On one side stands the reigning champions, Aja Wilson and her powerhouse Las Vegas Aces. On the other, the team that's become the season's most thrilling storyline, the Indiana Fever, led by none other than rookie sensation Caitlin Clark. But this night, this was no ordinary matchup. This was war. From the moment Clark stepped onto the court, you could feel something different in the air. The chatter from last season, the hard fouls, the dirty plays, the league's refusal to protect its rising star, all of it seemed to be fueling her fire. But Clark wasn't here to complain. She was here to dominate. And she didn't come alone. Indiana had been quietly building momentum, and by the time they touched down in Vegas, they weren't just a team. They were a unit, cohesive, focused, dangerous. And tonight, they were hunting giants. The Aces, led by two-time MVP Aja Wilson, had no reason to fear anyone, until now. The Fever came out swinging. The pace was brutal from the opening tip-off. Las Vegas tried to press early, but Indiana broke it with ease, pushing the tempo and forcing Wilson and company to scramble. And then Caitlin Clark started heating up. She drained a deep three off a screen in the first quarter, nothing but net. Then another from nearly the logo. Her court vision? Surgical. No-look passes, wraparounds, laser beams into tight windows. She made it look effortless. Every possession seemed to end in a highlight. Every dribble spoke one message: you can't stop me. By halftime, the Fever led by 9. Vegas looked stunned. Wilson, usually cool and composed, was visibly rattled. Indiana's physical defense was doing its job. Aaliyah Boston battled in the paint like a veteran. Nalissa Smith pulled down rebounds in traffic. Kelsey Mitchell was a blur in transition. And through it all, Clark orchestrated the chaos like a maestro. Then came the third quarter. This is where legends are made. And Clark didn't disappoint. With just under 7 minutes left, she blew past Jackie Young and pulled up for a dagger three. Crowd silence. Moments later, she broke the league record for most assists in a single game by a rookie. A few plays later, she nailed her 9th three-pointer, another record broken. And by the time the fourth quarter arrived, Clark wasn't done. She'd go on to shatter a third WNBA record before the final buzzer, all in the same game. Fans in the stands were losing their minds. The announcers couldn't keep up. This wasn't just a statement, this was a takeover. And how did Caitlin Clark break 3 WNBA records in one game and silence Vegas? Stay tuned to find out. Fever fans, take over. Vegas as Clark rewrites the script. The bright neon lights of the strip pale in comparison to what's happening inside. The Indiana Fever aren't just visitors here, they've brought an army. Thousands of red jerseys flood the stands, their chants for Caitlin Clark echoing so loudly you'd think this was Gainbridge Fieldhouse. It's a total takeover, and it sets the tone for what's about to unfold. A game where history will be made. There's a different energy swirling around Clark tonight. Focused, calm, dangerous. This isn't the same rookie who earlier this season was being double-teamed into frustration. She's not playing to prove anything anymore. She's playing to win. And surrounding her is a Fever team that finally feels whole. From the opening minutes, Las Vegas tries to implement the same physical defensive strategy that has worked against Clark in the past. They throw traps at her, pick her up full court, and switch long defenders onto her. It's aggressive, relentless, and this time, it doesn't matter. Clark doesn't flinch. Every bump, every reach, every hand in her face only sharpens her focus. She knows what's coming, and she's 2 steps ahead. But what makes this night different isn't just Clark's resilience. It's the way her team steps up behind her. Sophie Cunningham, part spark plug, part bodyguard, sets the tone with physical defense and vocal leadership. She's the first to step in if things get chippy. Nalissa Smith crashes the boards like her life depends on it. Aaliyah Boston turns the paint into a no-fly zone. And Kelsey Mitchell becomes the perfect backcourt partner, spacing the floor and knocking down clutch shots when Vegas dares to help off her. Something special starts to happen. The ball starts to move fast. Cuts are sharp. Passes are crisp. Clark whips behind the back dishes into tight windows. The Aces' defense, normally airtight, starts to unravel. They're chasing ghosts. Clark isn't just scoring, she's dissecting them. The Fever racked up 22 assists on their first 29 field goals. It's a masterclass in team basketball, and it all flows through number 22. What started as Vegas trying to isolate her has turned into a symphony conducted by Clark. Every possession has a purpose. Every run is calculated. Indiana isn't just matching the champs, they're outplaying them. And Clark? She's having fun. You can see it in the no-look passes, in the way she sprints back on defense with a smirk after drilling another logo 3. She's not rattled. She's in rhythm. This isn't survival mode. This is takeover mode. Las Vegas calls a timeout trying to stop the bleeding, but it's too late. Indiana smells blood. The fans, their voices hoarse, keep chanting her name. Every record Clark breaks tonight feels less like a surprise and more like destiny. So, how did Indiana turn Vegas's timeout into a victory march for Clark? Keep watching. This masterpiece is just getting started. Fever's full-court symphony. With the crowd still roaring and the Aces scrambling, Caitlin Clark takes command of the floor like a seasoned general. The ball is in her hands, but her eyes are everywhere. She isn't just scoring, she's conducting. And with each pass, each dribble, she's turning the Indiana Fever into a symphony of speed, spacing, and execution that the defending champions can't keep up with. The rhythm changes when rookie Layla Lacan, the rising star from France, cuts hard to the basket. Clark sees her before the defense even turns their heads. Bounce pass, layup, bucket. That's the point guard version of Clark the league has come to fear. Not just a scorer, but a facilitator who makes everyone around her better. Kelsey Mitchell, meanwhile, finds her own gear. With Clark drawing double coverage, Mitchell starts to light up the scoreboard. Mid-range pull-ups, corner threes, transition finishes, it's all falling. She drops 20 points before the Aces can even adjust. Vegas can't help off Mitchell anymore, which means they're stuck in no man's land. Either give Clark room or let Mitchell torch you. They chose wrong repeatedly. Then comes Natasha Howard, quiet, steady, lethal. She takes full advantage of the Aces' stretched defense, bullying her way into the paint and cleaning the glass with force. She racks up 18 points and 13 boards, doing the dirty work down low that breaks a team's spirit over time. While Vegas scrambles to plug the perimeter, Howard owns the interior. And just when the Aces start to catch their breath, Sophie Cunningham checks in and turns the pressure up even higher. Her energy is contagious. Her defense is relentless. She nails back-to-back threes that silence the crowd and keep Indiana's foot on the gas. She grabs loose balls. She draws charges. She screams encouragement from the bench. She's not just playing, she's igniting. Even Aaliyah Boston, who's having an off night offensively, finds a way to matter. She boxes out hard. She dives for rebounds. She keeps possessions alive and delivers timely assists that don't show up in flashy highlights, but win games. That's the thing about this Fever team. When one star slows down, three more step up. There's no panic, just purpose. It's not just one or two players dominating. It's the entire roster operating like a single, unstoppable engine. Fast breaks flow into smooth half-court sets. Drives kick out to open shooters. Everyone's touching the ball. Everyone's engaged. The Aces' defense, once so feared, looks confused and exhausted. And while the scoreboard slowly tilts in Indiana's favor, it's not just because of talent, it's because of trust. This is what happens when the Fever sticks to their identity. Fast pace, unselfish play, pressure defense, and above all, belief. Belief in each other. Belief in their leader. Belief that no matter who they're up against, even Aja Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces, they can control the game. But how did the Fever overpower Aja Wilson's Aces with sheer belief and bold play? You won't want to miss this. Clark's record-breaking night unfolds. With every pass, every read, every moment she stayed calm under pressure, Caitlin Clark was writing a new chapter in WNBA history, and almost nobody noticed. While fans cheered the Fever's dominating play and the scoreboard ticked upward, something far more special was happening behind the scenes. Caitlin Clark wasn't just leading Indiana to a win over the reigning champs. She was secretly chasing 3 records and doing it with a quiet intensity that few could see coming. On the surface, her numbers didn't scream superstar. Clark finished the night shooting just 1 of 14 from the field and a cold 1 for 7 from deep. Normally, that's the kind of stat line that draws criticism. But here's where the magic of Caitlin Clark shows itself. She doesn't need to be hot from the field to completely take over a game. Her brilliance lies not just in the points she scores, but in the chaos she creates and the rhythm she builds around her. While the Aces were throwing double teams and high-pressure traps at her, Clark responded not with panic, but with poise. And instead of forcing shots, she created opportunities. Her court vision never blinked. Late in the third quarter, as Tina Charles hedged hard on a ball screen, Clark slipped a perfect bounce pass to a cutting Boston, who without hesitation fired it to Natasha Howard under the rim. Bucket. The ball never stopped moving, and neither did Clark's influence on the game. Then came the history. Quiet, steady, undeniable. Midway through the fourth, Clark notched her 9th assist of the night. Nobody stood up. No graphic flashed across the screen. But with that pass, Caitlin Clark became the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 450 career assists. She did it in just 53 games, shattering the old record of 62 set by the legendary Ticha Penicheiro back in the 90s. 9 games quicker. 9 games of difference that redefined what it means to be elite at the pro level. This wasn't about highlight plays. It was about moments, the small, brilliant ones that most fans miss, but real hoopers live for. Like Clark resetting the offense with 10 seconds left on the shot clock, drawing defenders, then finding Sophie Cunningham for a wide-open 3. Or driving hard into traffic, only to kick the ball back out to Kelsey Mitchell for another clutch bucket. And while all this was happening, another storyline was brewing. Clark had just been confirmed for the upcoming 3-point contest during All-Star Weekend, her first ever. She admitted with a grin that she hadn't even practiced for it yet. "I just said yes," she laughed in the post-game interview. "It's going to be fun. It's great for the league, great for the fans, and it's in Indiana. How could I not?" But tonight wasn't about future events. Tonight was about control, about rewriting records, and about one cold-shooting, red-hot leading point guard doing exactly what she came to do: break the system wide open. What happens when a cold hand meets a hot legacy in Vegas? Stay glued to your screen to find out. 3 records, 1 storm, Clark's legacy night in Vegas. Under the dazzling lights of Michelob Ultra Arena, Caitlin Clark wasn't just making plays, she was making history. With a fired-up Indiana Fever squad backing her every move and thousands of fans roaring like it was a home game, Clark added her name to the WNBA record books 3 separate times, all in one unforgettable night. The second record fell quietly, but forcefully. Clark became the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 150 career three-pointers. And she did it without the typical fanfare. No celebration, no timeout, no dramatic reaction. Just another deep shot from way beyond the arc, snapped through the net like it was drawn up in a dream. That kind of shooting, deep, quick, under pressure, is rare even among pros. But for Clark, it's routine. She doesn't just shoot threes, she stretches defenses, bends game plans, and forces opponents to guard 30 feet from the basket. She doesn't just change games, she warps them. Yet the third record might be her most impressive. While the world focused on her scoring, Clark extended her jaw-dropping streak of games with 5 or more assists to 40 straight contests, a WNBA record. 40 games of elite court vision, 40 games of unselfish play, 40 games of making sure her teammates shine just as brightly as she does. Whether she's on fire or in a shooting slump, Clark still produces. Her ability to lift others, to read the floor, create movement, and ignite ball rotation is what separates stars from superstars. And then came the final 5 minutes. That's when everything changed. With the Fever nursing a lead and the Aces pushing back hard, Clark found another gear. The entire Las Vegas roster was locked in on her, pressing, hedging, switching. But none of it mattered. She scored at will. Step backs, pull-ups, transition bursts. Suddenly, it wasn't just about team basketball anymore. It was her moment. In those last 5 minutes, Caitlin Clark outscored the entire Las Vegas Aces roster by herself. One player, one storm, one takeover. When the game reached its breaking point, she broke it wide open. It wasn't just dominance. It was defiance. The kind that tells every young fan in the arena, this is how legends are made. But right when the Fever faithful began to celebrate, a moment of silence swept across the floor. Clark grimaced. She reached down toward her right leg. A subtle movement, but everyone caught it. A slight tweak in her groin during a drive to the hoop. The pain wasn't obvious at first. It was the look on her face that said it all. Determined, but frustrated. A mix of fire and worry. This season's been filled with bruises, bumps, and now another scare. You could feel it. Something had shifted. And just like that, the most magical night of Clark's pro career carried a cloud of uncertainty into the final buzzer. Now, what happens when victory turns tense in a split second? Stay with us. The night's not over yet. The groin grab heard across Vegas. The final minute was supposed to be a victory lap. Caitlin Clark had just delivered one of the most iconic performances in WNBA history. 3 records shattered, the Indiana Fever running circles around the defending champion Las Vegas Aces, and thousands of fans chanting her name inside an arena far from home. It felt like the perfect ending. But then, the script flipped. With under a minute left, Clark slipped behind the defense, drew in 2 defenders, and fired a slick no-look pass to Kelsey Mitchell, who finished it off with ease. The crowd erupted, but Clark didn't celebrate. Instead, she stopped, grimaced, and reached down toward her right leg. The smile disappeared. She winced. Something was wrong. She tried to walk it off, but her steps told the real story. Slow, stiff, guarded. She headed toward the bench, eyes staring at the floor, hand gripping the inside of her right thigh. The same groin area that had been bothering her for weeks. The same injury that had cost her games earlier this season. This didn't look like a tweak. This looked like something more serious. The cameras caught it all. Her expression was hard to miss. Not just pain, but frustration, and maybe even fear. Clark sat down heavily, buried her face in a towel, and didn't speak. Tears welled in her eyes. For someone who rarely shows anything but composure on the court, the emotion was jarring. 1 minute she was flying high, the next she was holding back tears, watching the game wind down from the sideline. The timing couldn't have been worse. All-Star Weekend was just around the corner, in Indianapolis, her new home. She was supposed to be a team captain. She was scheduled to light up the three-point contest, an event fans had been buzzing about for weeks. It was more than a game. It was her welcome party, her victory tour, her moment to stand in the spotlight on her own turf. And now, everything hung in the balance. Groin injuries are tricky. That's the word from medical experts, like Dr. Jesse Moore, a regenerative medicine specialist. He's warned before how slow they are to heal, and how easily they can flare back up if not treated with patience. Rest can help, but it's not a guarantee. And in a sport that relies so much on speed, balance, and agility, any leg injury becomes a serious concern. It's not just about missing games, it's about rhythm, confidence, and long-term durability. After the game, Fever head coach Stephanie White kept things vague. "She just felt a little something," she told reporters. "We'll get it looked at." No updates, no timelines, just worry hanging over a night that should have been a celebration. The contrast couldn't be sharper. One moment, Clark was making history with her unmatched playmaking and fearless leadership. The next, she was on the bench, face in her hands, facing a new kind of battle. And as the confetti of victory started to settle in Vegas, so did a cloud of uncertainty. Indiana had found its rhythm. The Fever had won 3 straight. The pieces were finally clicking. But all of it, every bit of momentum, every bold headline, suddenly seemed to hinge on the health of one player, the one who made it all possible. So, what do you think Caitlin Clark's record-breaking night means for the Fever's title hopes? We'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more game-changing moments.